Hello everybody, today I'm going to be teaching you a couple of OLLs that you'll probably want to know as a beginner, which I, who just went to a competition, definitely wanted to know. Okay, so the first one I'm going to teach you is one that I really liked because it's really simple and you will definitely like too. So I'm going to set it up real quick, and it is a T with two edges here across from the letter T and two T's at the bottom of the letter T. Now how you do it is you hold it like this, or you could hold it like this, then you would do the algorithm in a different way. And how you do it is F R U R prime U prime F prime. I will have the algorithm up here for every single one of the algorithms that I'm going to be teaching you today. So that will be algorithm number 1. Okay, now the next algorithm is also a T, but it's a little bit different, and the algorithm is a lot different. Now you see the T here. Instead of there being two corners at the bottom, both of the yellow pieces are in bars on both sides. So this one's a lot harder for beginners to learn because there are a lot more advanced finger tricks in it instead of just FRU R prime U prime, which is really easy. One of the finger tricks being this, F prime with your left index finger, is pretty hard for beginners to learn, but I bet you could also learn it too. So here's how the algorithm goes. R, U, R prime, U prime, regrip, R prime, F, R, F prime. And then you will have solved the yellow side. Now for my next algorithm, this one's also pretty hard, and it's for the cross. Now instead of just doing the typical beginner R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime, you're not going to do that. Instead, you're going to hold the side with no yellows on your right hand, and you're going to do R, U2, R2, U prime, R2, U prime, R2, U2, R. And then, that's the yellow side solved. Now the next one is the one I mentioned earlier. It's the RU, R prime, U, RU2, R. So basically, when you're going to use it is when you have a fish, like this. And how you recognize it is you point the fish at yourself and look for the yellow corner. But I'm not going to explain the entirety of this thing because this isn't a tutorial. I'm just teaching you a couple algorithms. So you're going to do the algorithm R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. Now this won't solve the entire cube, obviously. None of these algorithms will. Maybe except for one. But for a lot of these algorithms, they just solve the yellow side. This was the one algorithm I was talking about that was gonna solve the cube, but this one's also a pretty long one, and it's called a PLL. The other ones we've been doing are called OLLs. This one's a PLL though, and how you recognize it is you have almost a full side with one of its opposite sides pieces on it, on the edge, and then almost an entire side with one corner here, same on the other side, and then just whatever on this side. I don't know how to explain it. Now this one's going to be a long one, so here it is. R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. And by then, you would have solved the cube instead of just solving the yellow side. So, there's that long algorithm. Now, this next algorithm is pretty uncommon among all the other, 50-something algorithms that you could find for OLLs. But here's how you recognize the algorithm. First, if you have a kind of small, tiny V and two corners facing it on the side you can see, and then a bar, a 2/3 of a bar here, and one edge here. The 2/3 of a bar and edge can also be swapped, so they don't matter. But here's the algorithm. It's F R U R prime U prime R U R prime U prime F prime. Now again, this is pretty uncommon, so you don't have to really bother trying to learn it, but it is really simple, and I would recommend doing it either way, because in my competition, I ended up getting this algorithm multiple times. Is for a lot of these algorithms, you're going to want to learn how to do it left-handed pretty good. So I'm going to show the same exact algorithm, but left-handed. Obviously, it's the same shape, small v, two corners, 2/3 of a bar, and one edge. So this time, you're going to do everything you did, but kind of inverted. So F prime, L prime, U prime, L, U, L prime, U prime, L, U, F. And then that will be this algorithm flipped, or like reversed, lefty, or whatever. Now this next algorithm is pretty important to learn. It's when you have kind of a P and an edge below the P and the rest of a bar beside the P. So what you're going to do here is how you recognize it, is you see the P, you see the edge, you see the bar, and how you're going to do it is instead of, it's going to be an R, F, R prime, U prime, F prime thing again, but this time kind of backwards. And how you recognize it is if you saw this corner piece, you would think I should probably do the F here. But no, if you see the corner piece here, you would do the F here. And if the corner piece was here, you would do the F here. So here's the algorithm. F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. Now obviously the same can be said with the flipped version, the lefty version. You have a backwards P this time, one edge, one bar, then you just pull the corner away. U prime this time, L prime, U, L, and then F. Now this next algorithm is called a J-perm. It can be used on both 2x2 and 3x3, and how you can recognize it is it's pretty simple to recognize. A solved side in your left hand, and almost a solved side here with 2/3 of a bar here. And you don't really have to look at anything else. It's just that you have to look at. And here's how the algorithm goes. R, U, R prime, F prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime. The last U prime is optional. For example, if you instead had the cube like this, because that final U prime is used to get rid of a +2 if you were in a competition, if it's like this, every time you do the algorithm, this side would go backwards. That's why you do the last U prime. So if it was like this, you would do the algorithm, but this is why the U prime is optional. You don't have to do the U prime this time, because this side moved backwards. But then, if you had it like this, it would have to be a U2, because it's moving away, and then that would be a U2 to get it back. See? And then final case, if you have it one away, it looks like it's going to be a U2, it's actually not going to be. If you do the algorithm, then you're going to have to do a U. And that's all I have to offer the algorithm. Now for this next algorithm, it's for when you're on the final step of a 3x3. You have to get these to be correct, be in the right place. How it's going to work is you're going to hold the solved side in front of you, and whichever way this part needs to go, so for example, it needs to turn this way, that's the way I'm going to be doing, like, this move. So here's how it's going to go. R prime, U. R prime, U prime. R prime, U prime. R prime, U, R, U, R2. Now you get the deal. There's always like sometimes a lefty version of it. So here it is. It's L, U prime, L, U, L, U, L, U prime, L prime, U prime, L2. Now for this next algorithm, it is called an H-perm. It's pretty easy and simple to memorize, and it's really easy to recognize as well. All you need to see is just these headlights, which headlights are basically... No, I did not do research on this, by the way. Headlights, I'm just winging it. Headlights are if, like, the edges are swapped. Just if the edges are swapped between the opposite side. So here's the algorithm. M2, U prime, M2, U2, M2, U prime, M2. Now, the U prime is optional. You could also do U, but in my opinion, U prime feels a lot better. So that's that. Now for this next algorithm, how you recognize it is basically like the algorithm with this. Oh no, I messed it up. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm just gonna get to the algorithm now. It's basically the same as how you recognize that last algorithm with the solved side and the rest of the stuff being messed up, but there's no solved side this time. Now how you're gonna recognize it is if these two need to swap and these two need to swap, you're gonna do this algorithm with a U prime and U prime only, no U. But if it's a different way, and these two need to swap and these two need to swap, then it's gonna be U. U prime feels a lot better to me, obviously, so I'm gonna do it in the U prime version. Now the first part is pretty much like an H perm, but after that it's a lot different. So here's the algorithm: M2 U prime, M2 U prime, M U2, M2 U2, M prime U2, and there's the algorithm. Now I'm gonna show it with the U blah blah blah. Here you go. M2 U, M2 U, M U2, M2 U2, M prime U2. For my next and final algorithm, I'm going to show you this algorithm. How you can recognize it is stairs, and don't worry, there is no case where there is no corner piece, so you don't have to learn a whole separate algorithm. So here's how the algorithm goes. How you can recognize it, it's like the last algorithm, and there's a U and U prime. How you recognize if you're doing U or U prime is if you're going to turn the stairs, like, imagine I took these two pieces out. Now, if I turned the stairs this way, that wouldn't feel that good. But if I turned it this way, that would feel a lot better. And I would guarantee that it's not going to fall apart. And that's how you recognize it. And again, the same way the other way. If I turn it this way, feels good. Here's the algorithm now. It is M prime, U prime, M, U2, M prime, U prime, M. Oh no, I put the pieces in wrong. Whoops. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more good content like this. And I guess, see you some other time.